Obviously, I love psychology, right? Because I study it, but it can be used for evil, especially in intimate relationships. I want to talk about a couple of ways that people manipulate each other in relationships. I'm going to cover love bombing and gaslighting in this video. So if you are in a toxic relationship or you know someone who is, please watch this video or just watch it to prepare yourself and make sure that you know to avoid these red flags in relationships. And please don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on bell notifications. This is my first time using the backside camera instead of the front camera, so we'll see if this is better quality. It probably is. We'll see. So love bombing is when you first start dating somebody and then they come on super duper strong and you're like, wow, this is really great, I've been wanting this attention. They might say I love you super duper early. They'll be like one weekend and they say I love you, or I want you to be my wife, or I want you to be my husband, and it's just like how do you feel that way already? But it might feel good in the moment because you're like, wow, this is like a fairy tale. This is like what you see in the movies. But that's a little bit of a red flag because think about it. Have you really earned them to say that to you? This is mind manipulation. So let's say you're the one that's doing it. You're a love bomber.
I love you! Don't bullshit me!
You're actually not helping yourself either, because this isn't going to be healthy in the long run. If you're not being honest with the person and you're just telling them things that they want to hear to manipulate them, you're gonna end up losing in the end anyway. So a lot of the time when someone love bombs, they give this time, attention, maybe they give them gifts, and then they take it all away. Poof. They stop being attentive, they stop answering. After giving all of this insane amount of attention to somebody out of the blue, just like from when you first start dating them, then they take it all away. And then the other person, very understandably, is like, what the hell? Like, I thought you really liked me. I thought you were like falling in love with me. How come you're not answering my messages? And that's just like really rude to do. But they are using intermittent reinforcement. They might not even know it. This could be unconscious, this could be conscious. But if you are giving somebody a lot of love and attention, that's like giving a reward. And I've said this before in many other videos, but it creates an addiction when you get an inconsistent reward, whether it's gambling or anything in life. So when they take away this attention, all of a sudden the other person starts getting addicted to that person. And this is like a toxic kind of addiction. This isn't like a good thing at all, because then they start craving that addiction. Their ego needs the approval from the other person because they were feeling so good, hormones were getting released, and then all of a sudden you take it away. It's like I'm going through withdrawal. Before it gets too late, before it gets to the point where you really feel like you can't get away from this person, you should probably take a step back and be like, did this really make sense for them to say I love you so fast? Did I really earn that love and affection that was feeling so good? Because that has to be earned over time through, time, consistency, trust. If those things didn't happen, then it's just kind of just like, why are they saying I love you? And understanding that will help you understand why you were addicted and having these cravings for this person. And also watching videos like this will help you understand that, because once you understand the psychology behind manipulation and whether someone's doing it on purpose or not, you can help protect yourself from it. When something feels like it's too good to be true, it usually is. I'm pretty sure like Eminem said that in a song.
When someone seems too good to be true, they usually are.
Let's say like Hulu or Apple TV, they like give you a free trial and you're like, oh, this is great, like free. And then they try to like hook you on with like paying monthly. It's too good to be true. I don't know if that's a good analogy for this, but it's like sometimes you really have to think about the big picture. It's like, I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to use psychology to get me in there. If you feel like you're being love bombed, you might want to communicate. If you really like this person, you still want to make it work, you can always tell them like, hey, I feel like we're moving a little too fast. Can we like slow this down a little bit? Or if you're like realizing a lot of red flags along with this, you might just want to cut it off and save yourself some time. And you might want to just save yourself some heartbreak if that feels like the best move. So the other thing I wanted to talk about today was gaslighting. So this is very common, and pretty much every abusive relationship includes gaslighting. The term gaslighting actually came from this play called Gaslight, where there was this man that was, the whole like premise of the play is that this man was trying to make his wife feel insane. He kept like lying to her and like doing all this crazy stuff and then making it seem like she was going crazy. Like he did some kind of thing to the lights. Like made the lights flicker or something like that. You can look it up yourself, and then he kept lying to her and making it seem like she was just imagining it. So basically, it's when a person tries to keep you on the hook by making you feel insane and making you doubt your own judgment. So if they're lying to you and you catch them in a lie, they try to make you question if they're lying. They try to confuse you, throw a little doubt in there. Maybe start talking about something else, changing the subject, or they could say something like, oh, remember last time that something like this happened and I wasn't actually lying? Remember, oh look, you're doing it again. Trying to turn it around onto you, even though they know they were caught in a lie, and they've gotten very good at it. And a lot of the time there's somebody that knows you very well, so they know your personality enough to know where your sensitive parts are, to how to make you actually get confused. And as much as you used to trust your instincts before, you might not anymore. And then all of a sudden you feel like you need somebody. They try to make you feel like dependent on another person, when in reality, we don't need anybody else, we're good. A lot of the time they'll lie over and over, they'll deny evidence, they will often contradict themselves, which is also really confusing. You don't know what you're talking about, and then they'll confuse you to the point where the topic of conversation might get dismissed, even though you're so confident going into the conversation. So you shouldn't ever let anybody make you feel like you can't trust your instincts. A lot of the time this happens in abusive relationships, and you might think like, how would I ever let anybody manipulate me like this? But you never actually know what it's like until you're in that situation. And generally things start out pretty nice, you know, like when you first meet somebody, and then they show their true colors, they start getting comfortable with you, and then they start feeling like they have this like, almost like this sense of ownership over you. And if they feel like they're losing that sense of ownership, which is super toxic, then they try these manipulative strategies. They basically use psychology. And in reality, it's because they have their own things to work on and they're insecure, and they know that without you, they would feel like less of a person. And they, you know, honestly, I feel like anyone who is manipulating somebody in that way most likely needs therapy to talk out whatever it is that made them feel like they need to take advantage of somebody that way. And it's really sad. But for you, if you're the person that's been manipulated, the first step is understanding the psychology, making sure that you know that you're not alone. This happens very, very often. You know, there's a lot of characteristics of toxic relationships. Like if somebody's blaming you often for their actions, that's really toxic. A lot of the time, if like they don't want you to spend time with friends and only spend time with them, and like you need to be together and that's it, and they don't trust you, like there's a lot of baggage and manipulative things that people can do to each other. But in reality, I think a healthiest relationship is when you feel like a sense of freedom and like you can trust the other person, but also they don't like smother you and like they're mine and you can't hang out with anybody else. Like I feel like those kinds of relationships are pretty toxic for the most part. If you are just getting out of a toxic relationship, I'm so proud of you. You know, you've taken that step and you're going to be just fine. A lot of the time we need to stop focusing so much on another person and start focusing more on ourselves. Like, what are things that make you feel good? Is it moving your body, doing yoga, meditating? You know, just like think about self-care activities that make you feel good in the past, and then really make sure you put those in your schedule. Because if you're focusing on yourself and what you like to do besides the whole dating thing, then you're going to be a lot happier, because sometimes you put so much pressure into like, I need to be with someone, especially if we have like avoidant attachment style, right? Because I've talked about attachment before, and I think I might actually do a video specifically on attachment. If you guys would like that, please comment below. Thank you so much for watching until the end of the video. If you have watched until the end, please comment below, I've watched until the end, so I know who my loyal supporters are. And please don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on those bell notifications, and I will see you next Wednesday for another video. Bye.